Hi everyone, and welcome back to Heritage Railway News. This week I thought we would revisit Alstom's The Great Gathering. This event ensures to be a once in a lifetime moment where over 50 locomotives, rolling stock, and various organisations will be in attendance. So, to recap, the Great Gathering will be a festival of the railways celebrating 200 years since the first public railway ran all those years ago on the Stockton and Darlington line. This event is set to be held at Alstom's historic Derby Litchurch Lane Works on the first weekend of August. Now, to build up the anticipation of the event, over the past few weeks, various locomotives and units have been announced for attendance subject to availability, so I thought we would take a look at the lineup so far and then highlight, in my opinion, what is still missing and should be announced. So the first one on the list is 46115 Scots Guardsman, which is being provided courtesy of the West Coast Railways and will be on display subject to operational availability. A great first addition to the roster, I must say. The next visitor will be a Class 60 along with a JNAT wagon being supplied by DC Rail. Now, it's not been announced which unit will be in attendance, but taken from the images released, it seems the locomotive in question will be 60055. The next locomotive announced is a Class 91 which is being provided by LNER. Now, it's not 100% certain which loco will be in attendance on the day, but is expected to be 9110 Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and I must say, what a stunning livery that will be to see. The next exhibit announced is a Class 93 which is being provided courtesy of Rail Ops Group. Again, it's not confirmed which unit will be in attendance on the day, but based in the images, the unit in question is 93001. The next announcement comes as a Class 755 being provided by Greater Anglia. Once again, no unit has been announced as such, and it will just be a case of seeing on the day. We now move on to some more steam, and the next exhibition announced is 45596 Bahamas being provided courtesy of the Bahamas Locomotive Society. Something slightly different now, as the Class 108 will be in attendance, being provided by the DMU Group, who are based at the Severn Valley Railway. Coming from Avanti West Coast, a Class 390 Pendolino will be in attendance for the 3-day event, and the unit is expected to be 390119 Progress. Sticking with the West Coast, a Class 47 will be in attendance, provided by West Coast Railways. What unit will be in attendance is yet to be confirmed. The Severn Valley Railway based Class 50 Alliance will be providing a Class 50 for the 3-day event. This is expected to be 50033 Glorious. Bury Hydraulics Group have announced that they will be providing a Class 35 for the event, and this is scheduled to be D7076. The next announcement comes in the form of a Class 331 being provided by Northern Railway. As with a lot of the EMUs, the unit has not been confirmed, and it will be a case of on the day which one it will be. The next two exhibitions announced will be Class 66 courtesy of GB Railfreight, and will be attending with an LLAD biomass hopper from Drax Group. This is expected to be 66301 with the 50th anniversary gold biomass hopper. Coming from the Bluebell Railway, the next guest in attendance will be the 4 VEP EMU number 3417, operated by the Southern Electric Traction Group. Now, this one comes as a trio, as the Deltic Preservation Society have announced that they will be providing 3 Class 55s for the event, and are scheduled to be 55009 Alcidion, 9015 Tuliar, and 55019 Royal Highland Fusilier. We're finally back with more steam now, and the next exhibition in attendance will be 35028 Clan Line, courtesy of Clan Line 35028. As with the other steamies, subject to operational availability. Courtesy of the Class 40 Preservation Society based at the Severn Valley Railway, Class 40 40106 will be attendance for the 3-day event. The next guest will be a second Class 91 courtesy of LNER. This is expected to be 91101 Flying Scotsman. The next exhibit announced is a Class 43 courtesy of the 125 group, and is expected to be a 2+4 formation featuring 43159. The next exhibit announced comes in the form of a Black 5 being provided by West Coast Railways. The locomotive in question has not yet been announced, but based on the photo released, we could expect to see 44871 in attendance. The next loco in attendance will be 33012, courtesy of the 71A Locomotive Group. Southeastern Railways have announced that they will be providing a Class 465 for the gathering. This is anticipated to be 465908 Chris Green, seen in the recently restored Network Southeast livery. An older exhibition now, as the Furness Railways number 20 will be joining the event courtesy of the Furness Railway Trust, subject to operational availability. The first tank engine on this list, and it comes in the form of Coal Tank 1054, being provided by the Bahamas Locomotive Society. Greater Anglia have announced that they will be providing a Class 720 for the gathering. This is expected to be 720506, subject to availability. 31108 joins the lineup and is announced to be attending the courtesy of the A1A Locomotive Limited. West Coast Railways are back, and they have announced the Class 570 will be on display at the event. It has not yet been confirmed which locomotive will be in attendance. The next guest is scheduled to be 26007, courtesy of Victor Kruzeniak. And finally, the latest announcement comes in the form of a Hydroflex unit being provided courtesy of Porterbrook, and is expected to be 799201. And that's it. Now for me, I think it's a fairly strong lineup thus far, but I do think it's a little heavy on the diesel traction side at the moment, and we could certainly do with some more steamies to beef up that side a lot more. Now there are some pretty huge ones that are missing currently, and I have a funny feeling they are being saved until last to be announced. The locomotives in question I am referring to are of course the Flying Scotsman, Sir Nigel Greasley, and the A1 Tornado. There are some other omissions that I think are missing from the lineup currently, a massive part of being the lack of steam industrial tank engines. I would like to see a Terrier added to the lineup, obvious candidates being Fenchurch or Freshwater. I think we could also see an Austerity added to the lineup to represent the industrial side of things. A Bulliard of some form would be nice to see alongside Clanline. Caledonian Railways 828 I think should be in attendance due to it being the sole survivor of the class. A Castle class would be nice addition as well, alongside a Pannier tank of some form. I think an Ivet class could be added to the lineup. Potentially the original Thomas from the Dean Valley Railway would be a nice addition due to the significance of the show. The two poster boys of the show for me, if announced, would be the Adams T3563 as well as the newly built locomotive in the country, Beachy Head. In terms of diesel traction, there isn't really much left I would like to see, and I think they've covered most of the big hitters. Potentially a Class 20, maybe a Ruston or two, and maybe a Class 201 thumper unit, maybe the Hastings one, would be nice, but I think they've covered that quite well. Now something else I thought about was going to be an aspect of was potentially narrow gauge representation here. Potentially not due to the facilities not being able to support narrow gauge, but it would be nice to see that sector of the railways be represented in some capacity. I think it would also be nice if we got announcements of the miniature locos that are scheduled for the attendants and their societies. I know it's been stated that there will be ride-on miniature railways set up there, so it would be nice to see them announced also. And finally, hopefully we will get an announcement of which traders companies are planning on visiting, as I'm sure the likes of Hornby, Bachmann and Rapido want to get in on the action. Yeah, overall a fairly good lineup so far, which looks to be an incredible one-day event. Overall, a fairly good lineup so far, which looks to be an incredible event that will be remembered for years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and please comment down below what you think of the lineup thus far and what you are hoping is still going to be announced. Again, thanks for watching, and if you do enjoy that, please consider subscribing to keep up to date with future content, and you can find my socials and way to support me down below. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.